Welcome to Natural Habitat Adventures Daily Dose of Nature. I'm your host, Sunny Vanderstar. Today's topic is Costa Rica, what you need to know before you go. And it will be presented by our fabulous NatHab Expedition Leader, Alex Arias. Thank you so much for being here today, Alex. As I just told you a moment ago, Costa Rica has been on my mind, and I am so excited to join you there for the next hour. So let's go.
Thank you, Sonny. How you can hear me. And good afternoon. Buenas tardes, everyone. Thank you for joining us today in this little short presentation about Costa Rica. Okay, let's do this. So for those who probably already know what Costa Rica is, this is Costa Rica right here. We covers just 0.03% of the Earth's surface, which is nothing. But we are lucky because we are between these big masses of land, North and South America. So Costa Rica is like a link, like a bridge between those two big masses of land. So we are privileged because there are species migrating from north to south and from south to north. We have probably 5% of the biodiversity of the whole world. That means 5% of all the animals, plants, and insects and everything are here in Costa Rica. Costa Rica is probably the size of West Virginia if you're going to compare it with one of your states. And in this little country, we have more than 930 different species of birds, about 249 different mammals in this very small country. To be more specific, this is Costa Rica. And as you can see, we have the Pacific Ocean and the Caribbean Sea, and we have big mountain range from northwest right along the country to southeast. These mountain range are responsible to have different weathers in Costa Rica. You know, you probably hear about the trade winds that are prevalent winds from east to west all year round. So these winds are rich in moist and they carry lots of water, lots of moisture into Costa Rica, making this country very unique. In Costa Rica, we have about 12 to 13 different life zones, but I'd like to talk about 6 different life zones that we have in Costa Rica. First of all, the Caribbean lowlands. We spend some of our time in one of our trips here. It's very rich, very wet. It can rain to any day of the year. In Costa Rica, we have 2 seasons. I always like to tell people that we have rainy season and really rainy season. And right now, starting in November, we're in a transition between the really rainy season into the rainy season. But it's not like that. We have a dry season and a rainy season. So Caribbean lowlands, and then we have Caribbean foothills, which in my opinion is one of my favorite areas or life zones in Costa Rica, because you can find a lot of the biodiversity in Costa Rica in these foothills facing the Caribbean. As you can see, there's nothing that will stop those winds coming from the east. Remember, these winds are rich in moist. They carry lots of water, and they drop the water along this mountain range here. Okay, that's the Caribbean foothills. And then we have the northwest part of Costa Rica. Believe it or not, this is what we call tropical dry forest. With all this rain that we have in Costa Rica, from December to maybe April, we almost have no rain in this part of Costa Rica. That's what most of the resort and all that develop has been in Costa Rica in the last 10 years or so. So from the northwest part of Costa Rica, we go south. This is the South Pacific. This is rainforest again. Beautiful area. Here's when we have this area here called Corcovado National Park. We're supposed to be one of the more biodiverse places on the planet. In that little country, there's probably 20% of the species in Costa Rica right there in the South Pacific. And then from there, we go to the mid elevations. Places like Monteverde that we visited in one of our trips are located in this area, in mid elevations in Costa Rica. And of course, we have what we call the highlands. This is completely different forest. This is about the tree lines. We're talking about 12,500 feet above sea level. That's the highest point in Costa Rica. We pass the tree lines at about 11,000 feet, and then it's a complete and a unique ecosystem up here. So six areas, pretty looks like this. Remember, Caribbean lowlands, Caribbean foothills, North Pacific, the Northwest, or the Pacific side, the South Pacific, mid elevation over here, and the highlands. That's pretty much how we divide Costa Rica and all the biodiversity that you can find on these 6 different life zones. Okay, let's move to our trips. You know, I like to talk about Costa Rica, but it's hard to explain people how everything is without you being here to enjoy all this. So we have few trips in Costa Rica. I want to talk about 2 different trips. This is our natural jewels of Costa Rica. Beautiful toucan, eh? So this is a 11-day trips. On this trip, we start in San Jose, like every trip here in Costa Rica. From San Jose, we go to the Caribbean. Remember, Caribbean lowlands. And we spend a couple nights in Tortuguero. Tortuguero is an amazing place. You cannot drive there. You have to fly there, or you have to take a boat. Normally, it would be like from San Jose about 3 or 3.5 hours driving, and then about 1 to 2 hours by boat. But of course, we fly there, so we get you there in 25 minutes. So Tortuguero is known as the little Amazon in Costa Rica. It's a set of canals, like a wetlands, lots and lots of animals there. It's amazing. I can talk all day about Tortuguero, but it's not the same. You're gonna wake up by they call the howler monkeys, toucans, macaws flying by. It's just unbelievable. One of my favorite places in Costa Rica. Then from Tortuguero, we fly you to Drake Bay, which is the Corcovado National Park. Remember, Corcovado National Park, or the Osa Peninsula, is supposed to be one of the more biodiverse places on Earth. So that says a lot, okay? We spent 2 days there hiking and exploring the forest. I was telling Sonny that this year we were very lucky. In most of my trips that I took people there, we got very lucky because we saw amazing experience. We enjoy amazing experiences. We saw tapirs. We even saw a couple cats, wild cats. We saw pumas in Costa Rica, which is very, very unusual. But we were very lucky. Okay, from Corcovado, we go back to San Jose, and then we will drive you up to Monteverde, which is a completely different area. Remember, lowlands, South Pacific, and then we go to the mid elevations in Monteverde, which is a cloud forest. That's what most people wanted to go and see a quetzal. I'll show you a picture of a quetzal later. We spent 2 days there. From there, we go to another beautiful place, which is Arenal. Arenal, it's a national park. Of course, we have the famous Arenal volcano, which is, for a long time, was one of the more active volcanoes in the whole world. Still active, but we haven't seen any lava or big explosion in a few years, but still active. And then, of course, from there, we go back to San Jose. That would be 11 days of adventure traveling in Costa Rica. The other trip that we have here, it's Costa Rica Wilderness Explorer. This is a shorter trip. This is just 8-day trip. Of course, we start in San Jose again, and we take you to Golfito and Tisquita. Golfito, it's like at the east side of Golfo Dulce. Golfo Dulce is a very important place in Costa Rica. It's being considered a fjord or estuary. But there are some scientists that are actually working or creating a new category for this place because it's not really an estuary, it's not really a fjord, but it's an amazing place. This is the place when we have migrations of whales that come from South America and whales that came from North America. So they get together right there in that area. That Gulf is very deep. It's about 700 feet deep in the deepest area. So lots of the whales came from North and South America to have their babies here because it's warmer waters and no predators. So it's a paradise for them as well. Um, it's very easy to see dolphins all year round. Whales, not so much because they're seasonal. So they're here from August to November from South America, and then we have the visitors from November to March from North America. Okay, so from Golfito, we spend a couple days in Tisquita. From Tisquita, we drive you to a place called Ballena National Park. We spend 2 days there. Again, doing hiking and exploring some rivers and canals, looking for more wildlife. Subita Ballena National Park. From there, we go up to the mountains. This is a very interesting day because we go to the ocean, zero level of the ocean, and we go all the way up to 11,000 feet above sea level. Actually, we drive on the Pan American Highway, and around this area here in Cerro de la Muerte is the highest point in the whole Pan American Highway. Remember, the Pan American Highway runs from Alaska all the way down to Tierra del Fuego in Argentina. Well, except from Panama, you have to take a ferry between Panama to Colombia because there's no road to the Darien jungle. So we spent 2 more days there looking for quetzals again, and then this is called Cerro de la Muerte, and then we go back to San Jose. So these are the 2 main trips that we have in Costa Rica. We also have a family trip, have a different itinerary, and of course we have custom trips. Lots of people that have been to Costa Rica 2 or 3 times, they want to do something different, so we can organize for them something very unique and take them to an area that they wanted to visit that we don't include in our trips. Okay, you're probably thinking, okay, I'm going to Costa Rica, what do I need to bring? What to bring? You know, we always have all these big packing lists, but I'm gonna make it easier for you guys. So you need t-shirts, you know, 2 or 3 t-shirts, rain gear. It's important to bring rain gear. Even though sometimes I got people telling me, Alex, I brought this rain jacket, it better rain. And we have no rain for 10 days. But sometimes people forget the rain gear, and guess what? We get lots of rain. So in Costa Rica, you never know what to expect with the weather. Sometimes people ask me, how's the weather gonna be tomorrow? You know, we look at the forecast as entertaining because they're never right. One big cloud that are on the Caribbean side, you only take about 20 minutes to cross the country over to the Pacific side. So rain gear, please remember, we visit different areas. It could be like the second location on the Costa Rica Explorer. We start at ocean level and we go up to 11,000 feet. It gets cold up there, especially if it's cloudy, it gets cold. So pants, you know, those flexible pants, you know, quick dry pants are very helpful, and especially those are convertible. They turn into shorts. Those are great. Bandana, it's always good to have a bandana. Could be dusty, could be cold. It helps a lot. Couple t-shirts so you can walk around. Again, quick drying. We always recommend quick drying clothes for Costa Rica because of the weather. Socks. I recommend to bring extra socks. And if you can bring very high socks, and you're gonna see a picture why I recommend to bring very high socks, that helps a lot here. Of course, hiking shoes. And if you're taking the jewels of Costa Rica, you need to bring water shoes. Why? Because we have to do what we call a wet landing. So we are getting in the boat, but we have to walk in the water to get in the boat. And I have a little video to explain a little more that, and you will get a little more, a better idea what a wet landing is. Of course, hat. It's important, bring hat. Pull all that in a bag, a carry bag like this. Easy to handle, easy to carry, easy to put everywhere. More gear to bring, binoculars. Even though we always have extras and we also have spotting scopes, so it's always good to have binoculars with you. Sometimes the animals are hiding or they're not want to get really close to us, so we need binoculars or spotting scope to so you get to see all these animals. Cameras. I put that picture because, you know, these days people came with big cameras, people came with small cameras, and people taking iPhone photography. And sometimes people ask me, what's the best camera I can bring? You know, the best camera in the world is the one you have. Would be a big camera, would be just a smartphone. That's the best camera in the world because that's the one you have, and all you have to do is just to get not to get the best out of that camera. Sunglasses are important. It gets sunny, bright and sunny here in Costa Rica. Flashlights every night I like to do, and most of the guides here, all your trips, they love to go out at night and do night walks. And of course, a small backpack and bottled water, a bottle to bring along with you on our hikes. Most of our hikes on every trip takes about 2 to 3 hours. They're easy hikes, easy pace. It's not getting from point A to point B. We take our time. Sometimes you see people in the trail just boom going, and they missed a lot. So we like to take our time to enjoy as much and see as much as we can. Another thing that is important when you're traveling is food. Sometimes say, "Oh, I'm vegetarian. What's going to happen with me?" Or I'm gluten-free. Don't worry, people. Our team can meet any of your needs. Vegetarian, gluten-free, you are covered. Once you get to Costa Rica, as long as you let us know your preferences, you don't have to worry about anything. We will plan all our meals, restaurants, and everything. Just depends on the needs of every single person. But remember, let us know your preferences and relax and just enjoy the trip. So I have some pictures of foods here. So we can go from very simple. This is famous rice and beans with Caribbean chicken, with Caribbean fish, shrimps. Again, we can go from very simple, really good food to very fancy and good as well. One thing is, you think you're going to lose weight on this trip, and it's going to happen. No. And the other thing is, you're not going to go hungry on a trip in Costa Rica with us, especially with me. I like food, and I like to have all kind of goodies all the time with us in the car. Ceviches, of course, and every day you're going to have really good fruits. I always tell people, we are going to ruin your life. And people are like, why? Because the fruits here, let's say pineapple, the pineapple here is so fresh and so sweet and so good that you're not going to be able to get pineapple like that back home, because in order to export pineapples, they have to have pineapples earlier, so they're not quite ripe yet. And Costa Rica happens to be the #1 producer of fresh pineapple in the world. Of course, more food. I stole these pictures from a restaurant that we visit in Arenal with the groups. I guess you're getting hungry, eh? I hope you got lunch already. And of course, in Costa Rica, we have the best coffee in the whole world. I don't care what people from Colombia says, we have the best coffee in the whole world. I don't know, you can hear in the back, my dog is chasing some birds. I have a feeder in my backyard, and he hates the birds. Right now, we have lots of migrating species moving through Costa Rica, so they visit my feeder, and my dog is chasing them all the time. Okay, back to coffee. Best coffee in the whole world. Costa Rica weather. This is very important, people. In Costa Rica, we can go from this and to this. This is the same group, maybe 5 minutes apart. Everybody's having fun, and then boom, out of nowhere, we have heavy rain, and then get sunny again. That's why the reason we cannot predict the weather in Costa Rica. It can be rainy in one side of the canal, like it could be raining right here, and not raining on this side of the canal. I know it's crazy, but it happens like that. Remember, we can go from this to here, so we have to kind of prepare and be ready. We also have ponchos in the boat with us in most of the places. Another picture. I like this picture. This is from Corcovado. If you notice, all these people are wearing rubber boots. Depends on what part of the year we recommend people, if you can manage it, to wear rubber boots. You can borrow rubber boots from the hotels. That's the reason we want you to bring very long, tall socks, so you can wear those boots. because it gets wet and muddy. And if you came with nice hiking shoes, you can use them. But sometimes they're never going to be the same again after you hike in Corcovado. And you would think these people are posing for a picture. No, somewhere here there was a little red-eyed tree frog. So that's what they were taking pictures of. As you can see in Costa Rica, we can see big animals and we can see very tiny, very interesting creatures. How do you not getting bored about this? So once you get to Costa Rica, once you get here, what happens? So you travel to Costa Rica as an American, you don't need visa or anything, just your valid passport. Be sure your passport is valid for at least 3 months to get into Costa Rica. So it's pretty easy. Right now, they have a new system at the airport, and it takes like 10 minutes to go through. Sometimes you spend more time waiting for your bags than checking out at customs. So this is the airport. Of course, it's not going to look like this. There's going to be lots of people there, lots of people offering you taxi, all that. But you have to look for a sign like this with your name. There's going to be one of our team members there waiting for you with your name. Sometimes, again, it's overwhelming. It's so many people screaming and yelling at you, taxi, where you going, you need help, blah, blah, blah. Just look for this sign. It's a big sign, and look for the one with your name. Because sometimes we have 2 different trips going on at the same time, and people coming for the same trip on the same flight, and they get confused. So be sure you look for your name. But if you see the sign, Natural Habitat Adventure sign, just send your name, and he or she will look for the right person to send you to the hotel. Once you get there, you get in a van, and they take you to this hotel, the Marriott, Costa Rica Marriott, which is about 10 to 20 minutes away from the hotel, from the airport. Once you get there, just go to your room, and most of the people get to Costa Rica like one day before or the same day. The only thing you have to remember is once you get there, we are going to have an orientation briefing at 6 p.m. Not at 5, not at 5:30, not at 6:30, at 6 p.m. And this is a big hotel. There are a lot of things going on in the place, and sometimes there are 2 groups at the same time. So be sure you look for, remember the name of your guide, or you're going to be going in with a different group. But that's okay. Okay, at 6 p.m. we are gonna meet right here. I got this picture because people get lost. Again, this is a very big hotel. It has a big patio. This is the big patio at the first floor. So we are gonna meet here on this room. Anyway, your guides, your expedition is gonna be looking for you at the front desk. But again, there are a lot of people coming in and going out. So it's easier just to meet the rest of the group right here on this little restaurant. This is going to be our private room for dinner and also for orientation. And you get to meet your guy there and the rest of the group that is going to join your group. Okay, so that's going to happen the day you arrive. Next day, we are leaving. You're leaving on a trip. So transportation, people wanted to know what kind of transportation we are using in Costa Rica. So simple. This is the size of the cars that we use here for driving around. Our groups in Costa Rica, we take only up to 10 people. And these buses, we can put 25 people in this car. So it's plenty of room for everybody. So we're trying to accommodate 1 person per window. So we have plenty of room for your bags, your camera, all your gear. So no problems about that. Every trip we have to fly in Costa Rica, of course. So depends on the size of the group. We use a plane like this, which is a caravan, or we use a King Air like this. If it's for like 4 people, we put 4 people on this plane. If it's more than 4, we use the caravans, bigger planes. This is what they call it in Africa, bush planes or something like that. Very safe, very new equipment. We also are going to use boat like this. When you go to Golfito and Tisquita, we're going to take you and explore the Golfo Dulce in a boat like this. Hopefully, you get to see dolphins. And depends on what part of the year, you may see a whale or two. We also spend time in a boat, small boat like this in a canal. This is the Sierpe River, a beautiful river, lots of wildlife, lots of monkeys. As you can see, there's nothing but just wildlife there. In Tortuguero, we use boats like this because we are going to be in smaller canals. As you can see, they're open. There's no shade on these boats. It's open to the sea, open to the sky, open to the rain as well. So every day when you go to Tortuguero, you spend maybe 2 to 3 hours in the morning and 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon exploring the canals in a boat like this. This is another boat that we use in Sierpe, another happy group. That was my last group there. Good friends. One of the best things, one of the things that I like from that habit, I keep in contact with most of the people. You know, I think I'm a photographer, so people wanted to see my pictures. The thing is, when I'm guiding, I don't really have time to get pictures. So they have to wait until I do my own thing to share pictures through the website. By the way, the new portal we now have is amazing to share pictures. I remember years ago, we used to set up a drive and they have to share all the emails and put the pictures there and they were too big and blah, blah, blah. Now with the new portal, it's amazing how the groups can share all the pictures. Remember I tell you about, wet landing. This is what we call a wet landing. And I have a little video. Look at this. Woohoo! I know this is kind of scary. This is like the worst case scenario because this is high tide. We try to do this in low tide. But look at this. All you have to do is don't put your leg up, just sit, flip your legs up, and then you could be up in the boat. This is part of the adventure. This is what we call wet landing. We only have to do this like 3 times, getting in the boat, getting out, getting back, and getting out again when we go to Corcovado. This only happens when we go to Corcovado on the jewels of Costa Rica. Hope you're not getting sleepy yet. So what can we expect to see in Costa Rica? I love this picture. This is probably my best picture of a quetzal. I took this picture with a group this last year. That's a quetzal. That's what most people wanted to see when they go to the cloud forest in Costa Rica. This is a national bird from Guatemala, but it's one of the more beautiful birds in the world. Actually, people from Guatemala, they travel to Costa Rica to see a quetzal because they have no one quetzal anymore in Guatemala. You're gonna see lots of friendly people, lots of smiles. You can see this is a picture from Tortuguero. As you can see in the back of this group, these are all the canals that we're gonna be exploring for a couple days. And you can take pictures with your camera, you can take pictures with a smartphone. Look at this. This is, almost eye level on Macau right there. You're looking at the ocean, the sunset, and the macaw just flew right in front of you. Things like this. Look at this. Every day we do a night walk, and we also do a small early morning walk before breakfast. And again, you never know what you're going to see. Look at this big group of coatimundis right before breakfast, right in front of the hotel. This is a path that connects the rooms with the restaurant. Small animals, and we can go to big animals. See this? This is a tapir. That's what most people are expecting to see when they go in one of these trips in Costa Rica. They're very friendly. Lots of, when I was a kid, it was people, my family or my uncle would tell me, oh, a tapir is very dangerous. Of course, an animal, you chase the animal to hunt them with dogs and guns, they're going to be very dangerous. But they're very friendly, as you can see. And this is in the gardens of the hotel. That's a guava tree, depends on the season. All you need to know is where is the right fruit for them. So you just go and wait for them. They will come to you. You're lucky, you maybe see something like this, flying monkeys. They're not really flying monkeys. These are spider monkeys, but they like to show off. Whoa, they like to do that. Sometimes we're lucky enough to see them when they're in the afternoon. They are moving from one side of the canal to the next side of the canal. Look at this. He's trying to get some momentum. Shoo, boom. So fun to watch them. Sometimes they miss and they land on the water, but that's not the fun part. Scenery. We're gonna have lots of scenery picture opportunities like this. This is the Arenal volcano. Arenal volcano is like the volcano. As a kid, you have a perception of a volcano in your mind. That's Arenal. Perfect conic structure, smoke on top. Used to be lava coming in one side. Again, we haven't seen any lava in probably 10 years, but it's still active. It's still beautiful scene and a beautiful volcano, and lots of wildlife there. More of the scenery. This is a picture with a beautiful rainbow in Tortuguero. That little guy there, you already know what this is. This is a visitor from North America. He spent winter here. That's an osprey. They came on vacation to Costa Rica. Sometimes, if they're not mature enough to reproduce, they stay for a couple of years around here before they go back to reproduce in North America. One of the things that most people wanted to see in Costa Rica is a toucan. That's why we have different species of toucan. This is the yellow-throated toucan. Well, this toucan have like 3 different names in the last 10 years. You know, I always say that ornithologists have nothing else to do in the wintertime but changing names of the birds because they want to sell more books. This used to be the black mandible toucan, and then they changed the name to chestnut mandible toucan, and now it's called yellow-throated toucan. This is the largest, the biggest toucan we have in Costa Rica. And then the more beautiful one, this is toucan Sam, the fruit loop guy. This is the Kill Bill toucan, very common on the Caribbean lowlands in Costa Rica. Of course, very noisy, very beautiful, very noisy. Did I say they're very noisy? Scarlet macaws. We can see them on the Pacific side of Costa Rica, sometimes on the Caribbean. Because of the Caribbean, we have the gray-green macaws. So, but most of the time, we probably see them every day when you are on the Pacific side of Costa Rica. And we go from big birds to small birds. This is a very tiny, very unique hummingbird. This is a bird that you can only see in Costa Rica in mid elevations. You can see this guy in the gardens of the hotel in Monteverde. This is copper-headed emerald. It's probably about 3-inch long, but it's beautiful. Kind of hard to see, but depends where you are, you know. Probably my favorite hummingbird in Costa Rica, this is a fiery-throated hummingbird. I promise if you came to Costa Rica and you take them, go up to Cerro de la Muerte, you can get this picture. I know where they live, I know where they are, I know what to do. That's important. Again, from small birds to big flocks of birds flying. Lucky to be at the right place at the right time. All these pictures have been, I took all these pictures while I was guiding NAHAB trips here in Costa Rica. I told you we do night walks. So this is one of the goals. When you go on a night walk, you wanted to see this frog. They're, I don't want to say they're common, but they are, you know what I mean? So we know where they live. So I like to do night walks, especially after the rain, because that's the best time they come out in the dark, especially if it's been a rainy day. More species of monkeys. So we have the 2 largest monkeys, spider monkey and a howler monkey. Definitely you're gonna hear them on almost every day on our trips in Costa Rica. Once again, of course, the quetzal. Again, one of the main goals for people, they wanted to see a quetzal in the cloud forest in Costa Rica. In both of our trips, you can see quetzals, or you go to Monteverde with the jewels of Costa Rica, or you go to Cerro de la Muerte, you can see a quetzal in Costa Rica. Then we can see small creatures. This is a strawberry poison dart frog. It's probably an inch long. They're common, really hard to find them. But once you find them on the ground in Tortuguero, for example, you can see them everywhere. Another species of the monkeys that we have in Costa Rica. This is the smallest monkey that we have in Costa Rica. So what people call this TT monkey, but they are really squirrel monkeys. You can see them in the south part of Costa Rica, especially in Tisquita Jungle Lodge, where you do the explorer. You can see them every day in Tisquita. And then dinosaurs. This really looks like a dinosaur. This is what they call Jesus Christ lizard. These are basiliscus. They call it Jesus Christ because they run across water. They don't really walk across water. They got to get a little momentum, and they can run maybe for 6, 7 feet, and then they sink. And it's funny to see them in the water because when they're running across, you can see a fish chasing them. More monkeys. These are the white-faced capuchin monkeys. I think it looks like my daughter. And of course, what people wanted to see are sloths. In both trips, we have opportunity to see sloths in Costa Rica. This is a picture from mom and a little baby from Tortuguero. That's it, guys. I teach you the first words in Spanish that you're going to learn in Costa Rica is pura vida. Pura vida means pure life. It's our version of Hakuna Matata. Life is good. Everything is good. No worries. And I also wanted to share our mission and the best, conservation through exploration. But I want to share this. This is what inspires me. This is when my energy comes from. When I spend time with travelers, protecting our planet by inspiring travelers. How cool is that? So, okay, guys. I don't know if you have any questions. Sunny, I pass it to you.
We have plenty of questions. Thank you so much, Alex. Okay, let's start with this one. Snakes. Can
Ah,
people expect to see snakes on this trip?
you know, sometimes people that wanted to see snakes, and of course, the guys, we wanted to see them because we're gonna show snakes to people, to travelers. We have about 127 species of snakes in Costa Rica. Only about 22 are venomous. They're all over the country. Sometimes we see one, sometimes we see none. But we do have snakes in Costa Rica.
And if an animal happens to come up close to you, are you allowed to pet it?
No, that's no. And that's one of our policies. You're going to be there. We're not going to interact with the animals. If the animals get close, they can go by, but we're not going to touch any animals. This is wildlife, and we don't interact with the wildlife in Costa Rica. We're there as a witness. We're going to see what happens. We're not going to change their behavior at all.
And can you talk a little bit about laundry facilities during these trips?
Very good question. I always think to put in the presentation, but yeah, every hotel they have laundry services. But
Excellent.
don't tell this everybody. But when we do laundry, I like to help everybody in the community. So I know in every place that we go, there's a little place where to do laundry. There's a small family that the business is to do laundry. So we spend time at the hotel, we spend money at the hotels. I like to help other small businesses. So we take laundry to other places. So everybody gets a little piece of the cake, as they say. But yes, we
Nice.
can offer laundry very easily everywhere in
Excellent.
Costa Rica.
If someone wishes to have a zip line experience, is that included on either of these trips, or is it a custom edition?
On the Jewels of Costa Rica, we have a chance to organize zip lining. Not so much on the Explore, but on the Jewels, we have time to set up that. And that's not included. It's a separate. I think that I don't really know the cost of that, but we put time to take people there so people don't lose anything. We've been doing this, and we try, as guys, we're trying to arrange the timing so they can go do that activity and then enjoy the rest of the group without missing anything.
Excellent. Can you talk a little bit about malaria? Is that an issue in the areas where we're going? Do you recommend taking medication in advance?
This is an interesting question. I will tell I would say that look at what your government have to say. We don't really have problem with malaria. This year we have a little problem with malaria in one specific area of Costa Rica, but for most of the places they're safe. But my recommendation is take a look what the CDC have to say about that. I don't want to interfere with any of the government issues, but you don't have to worry about malaria because we try to go to places away from that.
Okay.
That
What
makes
about
sense?
hiking? Absolutely, yes. Are hiking poles recommended?
That depends on the person. Sometimes are they going to find out when in Costa Rica, the trails here are not flat. Even if it's flat, they're not flat. They're roots and rocks and water. So bring them if you need them. We also have them available. Not like those fancy ones. We just have branches, nice done branches, but they work. Pieces of wood. But yes, if you need that, those are very helpful. And you can move the snakes with the from the trail. Oh, just kidding.
What about electricity? Do people need to bring power adapters?
No,
Um,
that's
no.
another very good question. I think I skipped one picture in my presentation. Don't forget to bring chargers. We have the same outlets that the US. Bring all the cables because sometimes, believe it or not, it's hard to find a cable to
Mhm.
charge your camera or your phone. So don't forget that. And don't worry, we have the same outlets at the US. It's 110 or 220, depends where you are, but the same.
Excellent. And what camera do you use or recommend for getting some great shots during trips?
This is a tricky question. As I told you, the best camera in the world, personally, I use Canon. And we always, as photographer, we always, pull people's leg with, if they use Nikon or they use Sony. I always tell people the best camera in the whole world is the one you have. Because all you have to do is learn how to get the best out of that camera. We also do a lot of what we call smart photography. You can do what we call digiscopy. We can take pictures through the scope. All the guys in Costa Rica, we carry scopes with us. And once people look at whatever we're looking at, so we have time to get people's phones and get pictures through the scope, which makes great pictures as well.
Hmm. Can you talk a little bit about opportunities for swimming or snorkeling?
Uh, yes and no. Like no, we don't recommend to go swimming on the Caribbean or on the Pacific side because, believe it or not, there are crocodiles in the water on the Pacific side. And then we have sharks on the Caribbean side. There are some area with beaches, but those are like the resort areas people can go and swim there. We visit hotels with swimming pools, so you can go and take a swim on the swimming pool, but not at the ocean. Safety first.
Mhm.
That clear?
Okay. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Sometimes I in Corcovado people, I'm gonna go swimming. I say, wait a second, look at the water, and they see a big crocodile just swimming in front of the group. Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I might change my mind.
Yeah.
What about tap water? Is it safe to drink the water there?
Another great question. We always carry water and we recommend to drink bottled water. The only place that don't want people to drink the water is in Tortuguero. Even though it's safe to drink for me because I'm used to the water here, we always bring bottled water on every place for everybody. So you're always going to have bottled water in your room and to refill your bottles. And we have water available all the time in the car and also extra waters on the hikes.
Mhm. And what
Sometimes
about
people are worried about, fruits and lettuce or things like that. Restaurants are very careful with that. If, just in case we go to a place that travelers should avoid something, we let people know before we go to that place. Okay, guys, don't eat the lettuce. That never happens because we only go to very safe places to eat. so people don't have to worry about water in Costa Rica.
Excellent. Let's see here. What about, let's see, what about snacks? Do you also provide snacks?
We always provide snacks. As I told you, if you think you're gonna lose weight on this trip, it's not gonna happen. And if you think you're gonna go hungry, it's not gonna happen either. We have some of the best snacks in the whole world. Like, we have those very healthy things all the time. We bring everything. But my favorite things to pass around to people are dry pineapple covered with chocolate. How cool is that? That's my
That sounds
favorite
wonderful.
snack.
Can you tell us or review really the hiking situation? How challenging are most of the hikes, the highest elevation people will go to? Just again, to reiterate, what sort of physical
Well, depends on the
demands
trip.
these trips?
Again, most of the trips are 2 hour hikes, but we always have an extra guide with us. So you can do as much as you want. Sometimes we can kind of like split the group a little bit. We have like our base official hike, which is normally very easy. But in between hikes, normally we have a hike in the morning and a hike in the afternoon. But sometimes our people are more active, so we always offer an alternative hike, stronger hike for people that wanted to push a little more. So people can relax, they can hike as much as they want. Again, we'll have extra help with us. So if you got tired, you can just sit, and you want to go back, we can just split and go back with people. So easy. Even in high elevation, again, this is not a race, so we just hike around just to look for something. Let's say we're gonna see a quetzal. Sometimes for see a quetzal, you have to hike into a farm, maybe up and down, because you need to know where they're eating or where they're nesting. So that's probably the challenge part, just hike and down, up and down. But again, it's easy, and we have the whole day to do the hike.
Okay. What about internet? Will people have access to internet at the hotels or elsewhere?
It's changing every day. I remember, like I have a joke, like in Corcovado, they used to have a internet access, but it was so slow that they just found out that Michael Jackson is dead. But now they haven't changed it, so it's getting better. And we have internet connection in every hotel. Sometimes not in your room, but maybe in the main area and the main lobby at the restaurant, they have internet access.
Great.
Even in the
What
car,
about,
when we're
oh,
driving,
I'm
the place
sorry.
where we are, we have internet access. Wi-Fi in the car. How cool is that?
Will there be alcohol served?
Good question. Alcohol is not included in restaurant, but there are restaurants so people can have their own taps, so people can buy their own drinks. We provide maybe a glass of wine the first night and a glass of wine the last day, or we have a sundowner, so we bring out a couple bottles of wine. But for the most part, alcohol is not included on the meals.
Okay. Do you recommend bringing a headlamp or flashlight or both?
Both. I like both. I always carry both because one is easier to walk around and one flashlight just to spot things. So it's easier.
Excellent.
So we have some rule. We'll go out at night. We have some rule like don't flash it on people. Don't get people right in front of their face. You know how that is.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm just looking real quickly to see if there's anything we still need to cover. Let's see. Lots of questions, but I think we've got it. I think we've got it. So I'm going to turn it back to you for any closing comments.
No, everybody, it's been a pleasure for me. You have no idea how hard this is for me. Talking to a computer. I'm a different tour guide. We have to go to tourist places, but when I'm traveling with people, I want people to see the country through my eyes. So for me, it's hard to talk to a computer. But anyway, it's been a pleasure for me. I can talk hours all day long about Costa Rica, but it will never compare to the experience of join us on a trip, on a hike, just driving around Costa Rica. So thank you, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. I hope I see you here in Costa Rica in this season. Have a good
Thank
day.
you. Thank you so much, Alex. I am sure it would be so hard to present and not get any sort of feedback in real time from your viewers, but I just want to pass on some comments that people have really enjoyed your sense of humor and appreciate how thorough and clear this presentation has been. I think people are feeling very prepared and excited for this trip, and I'm very jealous of anybody who gets to be going to Costa Rica and traveling with you in the near future. So thank you again. I want to also thank everybody who tuned in today. Please join us again next or tomorrow for our next daily dose of nature. You can check out this week's lineup, including registration links, on our website at nathab.com/webinars. We did record today's presentation, and we will have the replay available on our website soon. With that, we'll conclude the webinar. Have a wonderful day, everyone.